I don't know who needs to hear this, but you are enough. You are enough. That's not something we hear from people every day, but it's true. You have everything that you need already inside of you. You're enough for the task that you have in front of you to do. You're enough for that promotion or that job that you want to apply for. You're enough to be loved, to be treated with dignity and respect. You're enough for your purpose. You've already got it. It's already in there. And somewhere along the lines, we lost it. We used to believe that we were enough, but we got the impression from somewhere that we're not. It could have really been from anything. You may not even remember when or where that started. But there's things that come up in life right now, and we shriek back. We don't even try in some cases. Or we have ideas of things that we want to go for, and then we have these secondary thoughts that say, oh no, I'm not able to do that. Maybe someone else is able to do that, but not me, right? Brothers, I mean, you are working hard. You are doing your level best to be great, to provide, to, you know, to hold it down. And you don't even get acknowledged for it. It's as if it's not even happening, as if the person doesn't even respect or appreciate what it takes to be you, what it takes to do all of that, right? But it doesn't negate the fact that you are already doing that with what you have in you, that you are enough. Even if someone else doesn't respect it, that doesn't change that you're enough. Ladies, you got dressed, you came out, you spent an hour with getting the face beat and putting on your best, and you guys are getting ready to go out. You walk out, he say, you ready? Doesn't even acknowledge it, right? And then it kind of makes you feel like you're not beautiful, makes you feel like you're not valued, when really he was just hungry. So, are there skills that we can develop to be better, to add, and invest in ourselves? Experiences that expose us to other things, that give us a broader view of the world and of life? Absolutely. We can get better all the time, no question. But it's always from the starting point of already being enough. Your makeup, how you're built, the positive attributes and virtues that you have, your drive, your tenacity, your compassion, your fairness, your love, sense of humor, drive, imagination, creativity. Man, I mean, come on. Just loaded with positive things that you were born with, right? And this is beyond anything superficial. And acknowledging that you have these incredible traits is important, because if you're relying on the opinions of others, you can get crushed so easily. You know, other people's negative opinion of you is really none of your business. It's really on them. They got to work that out. You can't be beholden to that. But knowing who you are, it just allows you to move differently in the world. And if you want to get a better grip on knowing that you're enough, then you got to deal with the fear that shows up in your life in the way of pride. And you might say, well, what does pride have to do with anything? If I'm trying to get a handle on my value and my self-esteem to know that I'm enough, where does pride come in? And there's several aspects of pride, and one in which we associate with people being loud or brash or arrogant or stubborn. you know and just to be clear, we're not talking about one of the good aspects of pride, which is having pride in your work because your name is on it, having pride in your family, or when your child does, great with their grades or in school or in some athletic event. Those are all good things to be proud of. Being proud of yourself for, saying no to that Twinkie at midnight. But another aspect of pride in its negative sense is really tricky because it's deceptive. It's quiet, it's subtle, and it shows up in some of the things that we do. For example, pride makes us to pretend to be something that we're not to others while keeping us from actually becoming the thing that we're pretending to be. Pride doesn't really like rejection, so it'll put up a mask, it'll put up a front, and we're seeming to be as opposed to just being. Thank you, Dr. Darius Daniels, who talks about this. Sometimes we have an unhealthy need for others' approval. It is a mistake to be obsessive over being impressive to others. Because if you live by their praise, you can also die by their criticisms. Can you imagine that roller coaster ride? You know, people approve you today, you're feeling high, you're up on the roller coaster. Tomorrow they got bad stuff to say about you, then you go low. Then the next day they like you again, then you're back up. Who wants to do that? There's value in finding a way to be emotionally neutral when it comes to other people's opinions, right? Check them out, see if they're valid. If there's adjustments you need to make, then fine. But living by the praise of others, not going to work. What you need has to come from inside first. That's your starting point. How about you impress you? You know your strengths, you know your weaknesses. How about you work to impress yourself? You can be proud of you whether anybody else is impressed or proud of you or not. There's so much freedom in just being you. It's pretty exhausting not to be. Now, here's an exercise that you can do. And if it sounds weird to you, then you probably definitely need to do it. Go in the notes section of your phone, or if you're still a pen and paper person, grab a piece of paper. Take the time to write down every good thing about you. Be honest with yourself, and this is only about the good stuff. Every trait, every attribute, every victory, everything you do well, everything you did well, accomplishments. Just let your brain go. Just write it all. And look at it from time to time, and it would amaze you how confident you become in yourself as things come up in life. Another thing you should do is take a selfie. But here's the kicker. Take the selfie when you look very regular, plain, not made up, no filter, just the regular you. And then take a picture or a selfie when you're looking your best. By your own standards, you're slaying at this point. Take those two pictures. For the one that doesn't look so great or doesn't look as polished and finished as the second, you need to look at that photo and you need to tell yourself, you need to rehearse to that person that you are enough. Call your own name. Ina, you are enough. John, you are enough. Rachel, you are enough. It's so powerful what it will do for the way you see yourself, because we behave based on how we view ourselves, not on wishful thinking, not on what we necessarily aspire to, but how we view ourselves. That's what shows up in the world, and other people see it too. Invest in yourself. Start to rehearse your own worth to you, and you'd be amazed at how things begin to turn around. Just try it. Try it for 7 days. See how you feel. If you don't want to take a selfie, look in the mirror. If you think you might forget, when you go to brush your teeth, look in the mirror and just say you are enough, and say it a number of times to yourself. And for that second photo, when you get ready to undertake something, or you get an idea about doing something, or you get ready to enter a new relationship or something like that, And you start to kind of get those feelings that you're not enough, or someone else would be better, or someone else is better suited, or any kind of negative thought that comes, then you need to look at that photo. The stuff that you have been rehearsing to the plain person, man, it multiplies when you look at yourself in a more finished and polished way. You start to feel like you're more than able, right? You're more than deserving. You're more than enough. It's also important to just rehearse what God says about you. I mean, come on. He's saying that, you're the head, you're not the tail. You're above, never beneath. You're the lender, you're not the borrower. Any poor circumstance, that's temporary. You're fearfully, you are wonderfully made. Come on, man. You're wonderfully made? Are you kidding me? Look up the word wonderful and get the Webster's definition of that. Yeah, that's you. You're more than enough. And you know who has little trouble with this idea? Babies. Look at babies. Babies are a great example of believing that they're more than enough and being themselves. They pick out clothes that don't match, and they will fight you if you try to change their clothes. And they care nothing about your opinion about it. And how many times have you seen a toddler try to do something that's bigger than them? They just believe that they can. You never see them pretending to be someone else. They just are who they are, and they own it. How many times have you had to go through all kind of negotiating tactics to change their mind about something? Whether it's trying to convince them that vegetables are good, or trying to talk them out of trying to wear that huge princess dress to school. They're just quite clear on who they are and what they want at that stage. They take chances. They believe in themselves enough to take a leap. We've seen it where there are a few steps up on the stairway and they just jump, assuming you're going to catch them, and you're not even close. And there you go, breaking your neck to try to get over there to make sure that they don't fall. And they feel secure enough to have an amazing amount of trust in those folks that are closest to them. Just great examples. So, what's the end game here? The end game is we all want to live with integrity. Integrity, it has Latin roots, comes from the Latin adjective integer, meaning one. You guys probably remember that from math class. It means being whole, complete, undivided. You want to be the same outside that you are inside. You want there to be harmony there. Living with integrity is being true and authentic. Despite what other people think or feel, you are able to own who you are. But we've got to get a right and a fair and a balanced assessment of ourselves. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And you need to think that you are enough. So, this is not your issue. And if not, that's really, really good. But you may have someone in mind who needs to hear this, so shoot it over to them. And in doing so, you just might be the catalyst that causes some type of meaningful change in their life experience. Love you guys to the moon.